The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, this is TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kelaton.
And I'm Terry. Join me later on in the news for the sports segment.
In this edition, FIPIC gets underway in Port Moresby. India sets ambitious targets, and hunters go down fighting.
Minister for Finance and Planning, Renbo Paita, has received a petition from the University of Papua New Guinea student body relating to the Defence Cooperation Agreement. The students are petitioning the signing of this agreement after the draft was leaked to media, questioning the intent of this agreement in the process, accusing the PNG government and Prime Minister James Marape of undermining PNG's sovereignty.
Students from the University of Papua New Guinea have petitioned the government to explain and do proper awareness on the soon-to-be-signed Defense Cooperation Agreement with the USA. The petition lists, among other concerns, potential environment damages and an imbalance in resource distribution.
Our request now is very simple. Reach out through the context and let the Prime Minister know that he must not be signing this pact today. If we hear that you are signing it, tomorrow and onward we will cause social and civil unrest.
Minister for Finance and Planning, Renbo Paita, received the petition and explained to the students that the DCA is not a treaty, but instead a framework agreement.
Whereas this case, it's a framework agreement. Framework agreement meaning there is a skeleton agreement for what is to be added on the framework agreement, meaning that principles are going to be signed. Principles of what agreement? Is it principles of mutual understanding, mutual training, mutual extension programs? What are the principles going to be signed? So I want to understand and I want to think that we are debating on the same issue, which is the framework agreement. So let me rule out the issue that it is not a treaty.
Secretary for Foreign Affairs Elias Vohengu last week in a media conference also dispelled information that immunity is being offered in the agreement. Meantime, former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill issued a statement today saying the government has positioned Papua New Guinea at the epicenter of a military storm between China and the USA. O'Neill said during the national general elections, acting in a caretaker capacity, PM Marape hosted a controversial visit from the Chinese foreign minister. He further gave another example of political blunder when Commissioner of Police David Manning announced in August 2022 that China had donated 2,000 bulletproof vests and helmets to RPNGC and would provide ongoing training support from China and the building of new facilities. Then in December 2022, PNG Chief of Defense, during the announcement of a new Chinese-funded military hospital at Taurama Barracks, thanked the People's Liberation Army of China for its continued support with training and willingness to support us in areas that need capacity building, and indicated a joint 2022 to 2026 defense intent. According to Prime Minister James Marape, the proposed DCA is still work in progress and yet to be approved by the Cabinet. He said, for the record, PNG have always had a relationship with the U.S. military, just like we have with Australia, New Zealand, France, and the United Kingdom, all under an umbrella agreement called Status of Force Agreement, or SOFA, of 1989. Mr. Marape clarified that we are moving ahead with new specific DCA to upgrade our relationship with the USA. He further assured all that the proposed DCA will not offend our country's laws, or we will not be changing any laws to implement it. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Meantime, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken's arrival in Port Moresby was short, swift, and with less fanfare. He arrived at 1 a.m. this morning and was greeted by members of Parliament, including Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso and Governor for NCD Powis Pakop.
And just like out of a movie scene, the arrival of the U.S. Secretary of State to PNG source was well orchestrated, swift but fascinating. His security protocol took control of that as soon as the aircraft came to a stop at APEC terminal at 1 a.m. this morning. Mr. Blinken came to Papua New Guinea in place of President Joe Biden to sign the highly anticipated defense cooperation agreement with PNG. Biden had cancelled his trip to both Australia and PNG to deal with U.S. debt ceiling fight. According to Prime Minister James Marape, the new agreement would provide a framework to help improve security cooperation, enhance the capacity of Papua New Guinea's defense force, and increase regional stability. The proposed agreement sparked a disagreement from students from the two major universities in the country. A sit-in protest at the University of Papua New Guinea and the University of Technology in Lae this morning disrupted classes. At UPNG, Minister for Finance and Planning Rainbow Paita addressed their students and received their petition. The students were against the government signing the agreement. A draft of the agreement was leaked to media, sparking concerns that it will undermine the country's sovereignty. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Leader of the opposition, Joseph Lelang, has noted that growing public interest in the proposed defense cooperation agreement and asked citizens not to preempt and sensationalize the matter. He did assure them that leaders in the opposition will consider the legal implications of the agreements, including the ship rider agreement, when it's presented to Parliament for debate. Lelang reminded the Marape Rosso government of a Supreme Court reference challenging the validity of aspects of an agreement between PNG and Australia involving a police cooperation arrangement which included immunity against criminal prosecution. Lelang cautioned the government to be careful not to underestimate the effect of such agreements on our legal system and potential to compromise national security interest, constitution and sovereignty. India has set ambitious targets on the issue of climate change. India Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi at the 3rd FIPIC summit held in Port Moresby today highlighted that India is working towards meeting these challenges.
Climate change, food security, nutrition and environment conservation, a few of the aspects highlighted by India Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi at the 3rd Forum for India-Pacific Islands Cooperation today. Prime Minister Modi, delivering his address in Hindi, stated to the 14 leaders of the Pacific Islands, including Papua New Guinea, that India respects the priorities of the islands. It feels proud to be the development partner in humanitarian assistance and development. He assured that India is a reliable partner. Modi said India's perspective is based on human values.
600 से अधिक लोगों को बिना किसी शुल्क प्रोस्थेटिक लिम्स लगाए गए। दोस्तों, ये गिफ्ट जिसे मिलता है उसको लगता है मानो जीवन दान मिल गया है।
Prime Minister James Marape, in his speech, said in the Global South, the Pacific Island countries have development challenges, resources harvested in tons, and the people left behind.
You have emerged as the leader of the Global South, and I want to thank you for assuring me in our bilateral meeting this morning that you will advocate, as you host G20 this year, you will advocate on issues that relate to the Global South.
PM Marape appealed to India Prime Minister Modi to offer its third big voice in the face of the Global North, stating that the Global North have moved in the development space into the industrialization space, and the small island nations and Global South deserves a chance for issues to be heard in total clarity. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
You're watching TVWAN News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life.
Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell Rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell Rice. Skell Life.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Our journey starts with you. We'll be there from the start, right through to your life's adventures. We'll ensure comfort and make your safety our priority. We'll take you to memorable moments, no matter where it begins. And we'll get you there like we've always done. The 4th generation coaster bus, more than just a bus.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi Trubla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
They travel by land, by water, and by air for hours or even days, facing the most extreme conditions imaginable. To these students, it's more than just a walk to school. It's a test of survival. And they do it every single day. The most dangerous ways to school. All new season, coming soon on Outdoor.
Welcome back. New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins was given a rousing welcome when he visited Gordon Market at 10 a.m. this morning. The joy, laughter, cheer and energy of the people was enough to relay a message to the people of New Zealand that their investment in gifting Gordon Market to PNG has played a significant role in empowering the people of PNG. NCD Governor Powes Pakop accompanied Prime Minister Hipkins on this visit. He highlighted that fresh fruits and vegetables are either shipped or air freighted to Gordon Market to meet the food demands of NCD residents. Mr. Hipkins paid a 30-minute visit to the market on his way to the FIPIC meeting venue at the APEC House in Port Moresby. Gordon Market, PNG's largest market, was built with funding from the New Zealand government. Governor-General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai has met with Prime Minister of New Zealand, Chris Hipkins, at Government House this morning. Prime Minister Hipkins arrived in Port Moresby on Sunday evening and paid a courtesy call on the Governor-General today.
When he met with the New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins today, Governor-General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai has thanked the New Zealand government for its ongoing support and assistance towards PNG, and especially logistical support towards the PNG defense and people-to-people cooperation between the two countries. Prime Minister Hipkins remarked that PNG and New Zealand share many interests, foremost of which is climate change, a major concern for island countries in the Pacific. He also discussed those issues during the bilateral meetings with the heads of government of other Pacific Island countries at the third FIPIC meet today, after visiting the Gordon's Market in the nation's capital. Mr. Hipkins also attended the U.S. Pacific Island Countries Leaders Summit this afternoon before departing Port Moresby. Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, also paid a courtesy visit to the Governor-General at the Government House this morning. In his welcome remarks, Grand Chief Sir Bob acknowledged the government and the people of India for their continued support to PNG, in which he says has strengthened the close relationship between PNG and India. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The Moitaka Power Station will be recommissioned to provide electricity once again to residents in Port Moresby. The Moitaka Power Station was established in 1980 and has been a reliable source of electricity until it was decommissioned in 2019 after several independent power producers were introduced into the Port Moresby grid. According to PNG Power Limited, the decision to recommission the Moitaka Power Station was made after thoroughly analyzing the Port Moresby grid's energy needs. As of Friday, May 19, 2023, Moitaka Unit 3 is available and can be safely dispatched with 6 MW of power. PPL Deputy Chief Executive Officer Nehemiah Naris was present to start up the first recommissioned unit. He said the PPL restoration team will work hard to restore Unit 4 to bring additional capacity to the Port Moresby grid in the coming months. This is TV1 News. We'll have a look at what's making headlines overseas after these short messages. Stay tuned.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life. He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up and big smile on face. Time for Kim chicken, a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
All-One Talks adds some excitement to festivities with the Flame Easter Bonanza. Win a slice of a whopping 300,000 kina by purchasing the Flame Family Bundle Pack, which includes rice, sugar, flour and vegetable oil, all in one go. Highlight these goodies on your receipt and scribble your full name and contact details on the back and pop it in the entry box in selected stores across PNG. 4 fortnightly draws, 100 winners, 3,000 kina each. You don't want to miss out. This promotion ends on the 31st of May. Flame, strength and energy. Terms and conditions apply.
Tired of sniffing, sneezing and congestion? Stop popping pills that don't help. Get essential vitamins found in nature through these supplements that are formulated to reduce the symptoms of common colds and flu. Boost your body's immunity with these supplements that provide a protective shield against nasal congestion, sneezing, mild bronchial cough and sore throats. Walk into a city pharmacy and pick up a bottle of Nature's Way Garlic Plus C and Horseradish or the sugar-free Cenovus Sugarless Vitamin C tablets and say goodbye to sickness. Available at a city pharmacy near you.
At TISA, we've been a common thread in the lives of Papua New Guineans for 50 years. Not for profit, not for charity, but for service.
Well, folks, after literally years of negotiation between the fan and the management of Steve Menzies, we have secured the great man for the show. Welcome to the fan.
This is all going through my head, and then all of a sudden he passes it back. Oh, my God.
Today we have enlisted the help of Panthers co-captain and superstar halfback.
When you've kicked it well, you usually know, and especially on the chip kicks, I usually know.
Thanks to Nathan Cleary, invaluable insight for the fans out there, for the kids out there.
Get ready for a mouth-watering dive into the wild with Mike Robinson.
Look at that!
Good job.
Ow.
It's the ultimate catch and cook.
I have noticed that you have not gutted it.
I tend not to gut it.
There's so much flavour.
That's stunning, to be fair.
You know, we're enacting what our ancestors did. It's in our DNA to do this.
Fishing the Wild. A brand new series coming soon on Outdoor.
Welcome back. Governments from across Asia and the Pacific endorsed the UN resolution to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact on Friday, May 19, during the 79th session of the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. They were committed to immediately curb greenhouse gas emissions. The region accounts for over half of the global emissions. The resolution further recommends countries to promote clean energy technologies, regional power system connectivity, low-emission mobility, early warning systems, and strengthened use of climate change-related statistics as part of crucial mitigation and adaptation strategies. On the sidelines of the 79th ESCAP, the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat signed a memorandum of understanding to complement each other's strategic work on the SDGs, climate action and resilient development, social inclusion and equity, and regional economic and trade cooperation opportunities in the Pacific. It's National Palliative Care Week, when attention focuses on terminally ill patients and those who care for them. The ACT is preparing a debate over end-of-life care, with the government preparing laws to make voluntary euthanasia legal, including for children.
It's not often we get a glimpse behind the curtain to meet those who care for the dying.
Death in our society is really hard for people to get their heads around and to talk about it. It's still a taboo subject.
At the Canberra Hospital, palliative care staff offer medical assistance, counselling and pain relief to those diagnosed with a terminal illness.
We started the medicinal cannabis last night.
Yeah. But by ACT law, there's one issue that Kate Reid can't discuss with her patients: voluntary assisted dying.
I've had a few patients raise it with me. It's a very topical issue, and so people are aware of that voluntary assisted dying is coming into the ACT.
The ACT is planning the country's most liberal voluntary euthanasia laws that could see not just terminally ill adults, but also children included in the scheme.
It may well be that an age
limit is arbitrary, and it would be about a medical professional's assessment of a person's decision-making capacity.
The laws will likely come too late for terminally ill euthanasia advocate Kath Dyson. Diagnosed with leukaemia, Kath may only have months to live, but after researching her options, has a backup plan.
What options do you have?
Well, I guess what it comes down to is suicide, one way or another, but it would be much more pleasant for everybody if you could do it legally without too much hassle.
It seems to me that euthanasia and VAD are a brutal and a tragic way of dealing with terminal illness for people in their great fragility.
The Catholic Church is vowing to block voluntary euthanasia in the end-of-life care hospice it runs on behalf of the government. Will voluntary assisted dying ever be offered as an option in end-of-life care at Clare Holland House?
No, it won't, and not only Clare Holland House, but I can speak with certainty that it won't be offered in any of our healthcare facilities.
Euthanasia legislation is expected to be debated in the ACT Legislative Assembly later this year. Kath Dyson is prepared for it to be her final fight.
Yes, I think it's a human right to have that option of ending your life when you feel as though it's over.
The New South Wales Environment Protection Authority has ordered an investigation into a gold mine near Orange after tests found nearby residents had elevated levels of metals in their blood and rainwater.
Today, the EPA has announced regulatory actions regarding dust and other air pollutants leaving the mine site. They have been given what they're calling new evidence from community members that indicate there is pollution leaving the mine site and impacting those living around the mine. They have also commissioned the Chief Health Officer to launch a full health analysis into communities and to get a bottom line as to what impacts to their health they might be incurred from the dust pollution.
How are locals reacting?
They're disappointed and they're angry and they're quite rightly terrified. These heavy metals that are appearing in their blood, things like lead, nickel, selenium, they're not meant to be there. And also, of course, this impacts the fact that their lives on a day-to-day basis. They're carting water, they're buying bottled water, and they're not even sure if they're safe in their own homes.
Michaela, how has the mine responded?
The ABC has reached out to Cadia Valley Operations for a comment, and we're waiting for their response.
Winter is just around the corner, and medical experts and practitioners are telling people to have their flu shot before the season really gets underway. The call is all the more urgent because many people are lagging on key vaccinations such as flu and COVID-19.
You're eligible for your COVID vaccine if you haven't had COVID infection or vaccine within the last 6 months. So the time has gone where you worry about whether this is the third dose, the second, the fourth, or the fifth dose. You're due for a dose if you haven't had one for 6 months. And there's interesting data which we've got on Coronacast this week from which has looked at the waning of these vaccines, and the prevention against death drops quite dramatically at 6 months. And that's data from 2 6-month time periods last year. There's also data being released in the last few days from the federal government about the gap, the vaccination gap, how many people have not had their booster doses in the last 6 months. And it's a lot. It's millions of people, even in the over 65s, but it gets bigger as you go. The number gets larger. So it's several million people who've not had their booster dose. So there's a lot of under-vaccinated people in the community, and that's to prevent severe disease. There is a caveat with these data, is that if you've had natural infection with COVID, you're not eligible for a COVID vaccine dose. So we don't know how many of those millions of people are just saying, well, I'm not going to have it because I've had the infection and I'll wait till it's 6 months. So it may not be quite as bad as we think. However, in New South Wales, there's 1,300 people in hospital with severe COVID disease. That's far more than a very large teaching hospital like Westmead. At a time, obviously they're spread through the system, but you've got 1 1/3 hospitals taken up in New South Wales with COVID severe disease at a time when we need hospital beds for everything else that's wrong with people. So it's still a major problem in the community. And vaccination is one of the ways, in fact, the best way to prevent severe disease.
So should health authorities be pushing that message much harder?
No question. I mean, we just have not had the campaigns that we need. And when they have had campaigns, they've not been very imaginative. Yeah, this is a study of 23,000 Australians being followed for many years, where they know what their diet's been, and they know all sorts of other factors in their lives and in their mental health. And this comes from a group of people who've been studying the nutritional effects on your mental health of what you eat, the mental health effects of what you eat. And what they found is that the people who have got the highest consumption in that group of 23,000 of ultra-processed foods, this is junk food, it's highly processed foods that you buy in the supermarket, it may even be processed foods like protein bars and things like that, have a 23% increased risk of depression. And it's probably because those foods affect your microbiome, and what's known is that your microbiome affects your mood. And so what you eat counts. You are what you eat.
Children from Tatana Island and the Book Bilang Pikinini or BBP organization celebrated their 11-year partnership recently, commemorating the signing of a new 5-year Memorandum of Understanding between Sam Mahesh Patel of the CPL Foundation and BBP. The MOU signed at CPL's head office solidifies the commitment to support the Tatana Community Learning Center through annual sponsorship funding. Dressed as pharmacists and nurses, the children playfully administered pretend medication in the form of jelly beans to their patients. This partnership, valued at over 700,000 kina, emphasizes the importance of education, literacy programs and improved healthcare services for the children of Tatana Island. And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Back home, regional forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with rain areas over Milne Bay and Oro provinces. Momaster region, isolated showers and thunderstorms becoming scattered over Morobe. New Guinea Islands region, scattered showers and thunderstorms with areas of rain and possible riverine flooding areas over the region. Highlands region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. This is TV1 News. Sports is next with Terry. Stay with us.
Without a doubt, you care for your loved ones. You want to keep them safe, whoever they may be with, wherever they may be, in the home or facing the world outside. Don't let anything stop you, not even bacteria. Protex helps protect your skin with natural extracts. Boosted with flaxseed oil, Protex helps eliminate 99.9% of bacteria for healthy skin. And with the power of natural goodness, you're ready to play every day. Protex, for the good health of your skin.
At TISA, we've been a common thread in the lives of Papua New Guineans for 50 years. Not for profit, not for charity, but for service.
HP and Theaters are proud to announce, for every purchase of any HP A3 managed printers, you will receive a free, yes that's right, free Torque 3 kVA UPS. And it doesn't stop there. Theaters is giving away 3 times top-of-the-range HP X360 series laptops, which are worth 25,000 kina. And your company could be one of the lucky winners. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Shop with us today. Terms and conditions apply. Theaters, proudly serving you for over 50 years.
WWE! This is your chance! Swat home! He hit it! Oh no, mommy! Do something! Oh my god! Super Rugby Pacific. The pride of the Pacific Islands on display. The bees are buzzing.
Welcome to MotoGP. To be a highly dramatic 18-lap Malaysian Grand Prix Moto2 started with...
So that's a very decent middle sector for the Alpine. They only have...
They have crashed! They've gone into each other! What a start for Will Davison. Di Pasquale has been swamped.
Biggest and most talented egos in sailing.
The two-time defending champions make it 2 in a row.
It begins in backyards.
Given by Queensland. It's a try for Mitchell. Valentine home's over.
Thank you for staying with us. In sport, if you're a Blackbird, Rose Phoenix-like from the Ashes to beat Tiga Sport 1-0 at Freshwater Stadium in Port Vila to make the semi-finals of the OFC Champion League 2023 in their home country of Vanuatu. Meantime, Hekari United FC bow out of the competition and return home to prepare for the National Soccer League.
In their very first Champions League campaign, Ifira Blackbird rebounded from a first-up loss and a heartbreaking draw to record their first ever win at the elite club level in the Pacific, ensuring hometown interest will continue into the second week. Following the result of the day's first match, both teams knew what they needed to do heading into the game. Both teams had excellent chances in the first 15 minutes. Tiga Sport goalkeeper Jean-Yang Dunizek was called on to make 3 important saves, and his captain Shin Welepane was only denied by the crossbar. But the game changed and the group sprang into life when Ifira Blackbird scored in the 19th minute. Outstanding attacking midfielder Jody Tasip delivered a delicate pinpoint aerial floater for right wing Godi Ntenene to power onto the expertly head over the despairing Dunizek. The entire match was tense, tight and tumultuous, but the final moments went next level as goal scorer Tenene missed doubling the score when hitting the woodwork with a belter. The 5 minutes of additional time seemed like an eternity before the final whistle blew and the crowd erupted as the players fell to the ground in exhausted relief. Meantime, a valiant AS Pirai are through to the semi-finals. The Tahitian champions qualified in top spot from Group B after a 2-1 win over Papua New Guinea's Hekari United FC. They play Suva FC in one semi-final this Wednesday. The two lowlights of the first stanza were when key Hekari attacker Ati Kepo received his second yellow card of the tournament and when classic keeper David Tomare had to leave the field after a major collision with eventual player of the match Etienne Tave. Hekari head coach Erickson Komeng was naturally disappointed with the result, but he's sure the experience will put his team in good stead. Komeng now heads home to Port Moresby to prepare his Hekari United women's team for the inaugural OFC Women's Champions League taking place here in Papua New Guinea from June 1 to 10. Salome Vincent, TV1 Sports.
With 9 slips to go before Game 1 of this year's State of Origin series, Billy Slater and Bert Friedler have both named their squads for the series opener with plenty of surprises among their respective lineups. The pinnacle of rugby league went down to the wire last year, with Queensland capturing an unlikely 2-1 series victory thanks to some late Ben Hunt heroics in the decider.
New South Wales were without some big names for the 2022 edition of State of Origin, but will likely see plenty of changes this year, with the likes of Latrell Mitchell expected to be available. After missing the 2022 campaign for New South Wales, Tom Tebrojevic looks set to overcome concerns over a groin injury and his fitness. His brother Jake is set to miss the opener, with the Manly forward withdrawing due to a lingering calf injury and replaced in the side by Tevita Pengai Jr. Epi Kurosawa's performance in round 12 was enough to see him edge out Damien Cook for the starting hooker position. Jerome Luai has won the race for the number 6 jumper, while Nico Hines set to come off the bench. Latrell Mitchell will return to the backline for the Blues in the 2023 series, while Jos Adokar has completed an early return from an ankle injury, will line up on the wing. Canberra's Hudson Young makes his debut, while Liam Martin has returned from a hamstring injury and has been selected on the bench alongside Cameron Murray, while Tyson Frizzell will return to the side for the first time since 2020. Stephen Crichton and Stefano Utaikamanu have been named in the reserves, with Campbell Graham sidelined due to a sternum injury. From the Maroons camp, Colin Ponga and Dane Gagai have been axed by the Maroons in a major selection call from Billy Slater. Rhys Walls is set to earn his Origin debut at fullback, while Hemiso Tabuafido will return in the centres. Jeremiah Nenai's 4-week suspension means he will miss the series opener, while Felice Kafusi has also been rubbed out. David Fifita and Tom Gilbert will start in the second rower, with Jai Arrow to come off the bench. George Papali has retired from State of Origin, which will see Lindsay Collins and Tom Flagler earn the starting front row spots. Ruben Cotter and Tino Fa'asuamalwai have been named in the bench alongside Jay Arrow.
The PNG Hunters mounted an extraordinary comeback in round 10 of the Queensland Q Cup, chasing down a 22 lead and almost coming away with the result in a 22-28-24 loss to the winner Manly Seagulls on Saturday afternoon. The form of the Hunters displayed in this game was in complete contrast to their round 9 performance the previous weekend.
From the opening set, the proud PNG club ran with intent to get over the end line and generate some ruck speed in yardage. Halves Jamie Mavoko and Sakius Kamati kicked to the corners and were well supported with a strong kick chase. Backing up their efforts with the ball, the Hunters' line speed was strong in defence to force an early error from the home side. The Seagulls held firm on this occasion but struggled to work out of their own end due to the Hunters' aggression without the ball. Gifted chip field positions saw winner Manly saw right-centre DeLuis Hoyter offloading effort in yardage that ended with Hoyter himself scoring in the corner. The home side scored the next 3 tries as they enjoyed a mountain of possession and attacking territory. Starved of the ball, the Hunters could do little to stop Wynnum's momentum, as Kyle Foxwell, Matthew Wilson and Tyson Smoothie capitalised on their momentum to take a 22 points lead into the break. The Hunters' comeback started with a huge defensive play from prop Junior Rob. Rob got a foot on the Seagulls' grubber kick and chased down the loose ball to win possession for his team. In the ensuing play, Sakios Kumati produced the goods on this occasion, rolling a clever grubber into the in-goal despite some considerable defensive pressure for Matthew Jesse to score on the left edge. Next, Judah Rimbu's pass to Rob created a one-on-one situation beside the ruck, and Rob produced the offload assist for Sonny Wabo to score. Wabo was in for his second just a few sets later, relishing his bench impact role. Running it on the last, the ball went through Wabo's hands to Komati on the edge, where his signature show and go made a mockery of the Seagulls' defense. Wabo backed his 5'8" up on the inside to reduce Winner Manley's lead to 12 points. The impact of Wabo and Rob around the ruck continued to pay dividends for the Hunters as fatigue levels rose. The Hunters this time shifted it down to the right tram line on tackle 5 for Roderick Tai to finish a beautiful team try in the corner. PNG, with all the momentum, were denied a comeback by the game clock. Winner Manley limped their way to a 28-24 win, but it was the Hunters who finished with a moral victory. It's a lesson for the Hunters as they look ahead for a 4-game stretch at the Santos National Football Stadium starting next Saturday, 27th May, with the Northern Pride in round 11.
A late surge by Eastern Britain Agma Gurias got them home in a 28-10 nail-biter against a spirited Galfiso side in their round 7 Pool B clash of the Digicel Action Mobile Cup at the Santos National Football Stadium on Sunday. ISO kept Gurias in check for the entire contest, only to let go in the last 10 minutes.
From the get-go, Gurias had all guns blazing, launching numerous raids into ISO's attacking zone, only to be denied by ISO's unwavering defense. Gal's defensive resolve appeared to have frustrated the Gurias' set plays, forcing a number of scoring opportunities into errors. Midway through the first half, Gurias were able to calm the storm, this time using their skill and speed out wide rather than grinding through the middle. From a left edge attacking raid, Gurias posted their first try through fullback Junius Guan for a 4-0 scoreline. At the back of good attacking momentum into ISO's half, Gurias would go back-to-back, but poor execution let them down. ISO, not to be outdone, were able to rally their way back into the contest with some slick ball movement on the left flank to put a dent on Gurias' defense when fullback Junior Hockey latched on to a well-timed pass for a converted try to shoot in front 6-4. Gurias were next to score, this time left winger Chris Benjamin showing his speed and footwork to get across ISO's line untouched for a 10-6 scoreline at half-time. The second half unfolded the way it did in the first half, with Gurias' robust and stocky number 1 Junius Guan powering his way over the left corner, inches from the touchline to put Gurias ahead 14-6. ISO kept themselves in the fight with a freakish acrobatic put down by lanky winger Kenny Lahore, but later denied by the bunker for having a foot on the touchline. From a 40-20 kick by Junior Bello, ISO took full advantage of the opportunity with a gusty play from dummy half by Bello to fool the Gurias' goal line defense to make it a 10-14 scoreline Gurias' favor. For the remainder of the second half, ISO kept Gurias in check with good defensive sets, but ill discipline in the ruck let them down big time. This allowed the Gurias to kick a goal, followed by back-to-back tries to their number 6 and man of the match Wesley Batari and former PNG hunter Casey Dixon to seal the win 28-10 at full-time.
We're impressed, especially the second half. We started slow in the first half, but we had a lot of opportunities we gave away in the first half, but I'm really impressed. The boys came back strong in the second half, and we got the win.
Performance to Milo training, problem is we started the training, so we game best to Milo star. Preparation by Milo star week and watch the game to the halftime.
We knew Gurias had a heavy pack, and unfortunately we didn't play it according to our game plan. We tried dominating their pack, but obviously their size. Credit to them, they really dug deep, especially against the win in the second half. So probably lost it in the back.
The Port Moresby Men's Softball Association 2023 season is back with 10 teams competing for this year's honours. After a 4-year hiatus due to the threat of COVID-19, softball came back to life courtesy of the recent Moneyball tournament during the Easter weekend. At the end of round 5, Power currently lead the competition in the A grade, followed by United Brothers, Bears, Gazelle and Defence closing out top 5. In the B grade, United Brothers currently take the lead. Meanwhile, a select side for the Makassar Open Championship in Indonesia will be announced shortly to commence training before the squad is trimmed down to 15. Community sport mainstay is the mainstay of weekends for many kids and adults across the country. But how many people are still playing into their 80s? At 82, Les King is the oldest player at the Mid-North Coast Veteran Cricket Association. He says staying active and making friends keep him young.
Like many Australians, Les King has fond memories of growing up playing cricket.
I played a lot when I was younger. I probably started competition cricket when I left school until, you get busy with other things, and I had a gap of about 40 years, I suppose.
Little did he know he would return to the sport and continue playing on a weekly basis at the age of 82.
When I moved to Port Macquarie, it was a different area, different culture really to where we lived before in Orange. And so I had to make new friends, and I did that with various means, and this is one of the results of them, yeah.
Veterans Cricket New South Wales is a competitive cricket league for players over 50. Its Mid-North Coast Association currently has around 150 members.
What a lot of our players are saying, that the benefit they get in terms of the camaraderie, the friendship, the mateship is just unbelievable.
We have a lot of fun. We play reasonably competitively, but we enjoy it and enjoy the after-match socials as well.
And it's not just cricket. Mr King recently completed his 154th Port Macquarie Park Run.
It's held near Town Beach, a very beautiful location for it. And it's 5 kilometres, and you do it at your own pace. In fact, I usually win my age group because I'm the only one in it.
It's just great to see, to think that in your 80s there's something that you can still come along.
Les King hopes to continue his weekly sport commitments for as long as possible.
It's a social interaction. There's lots of good-natured sledging goes on, especially with my age,
A great innings not yet over.
And before we go, Yasinna Nature Park, situated in Ward 7 of Upper Benna LLG in Eastern Highlands, received 2 very important visitors from the Benai District headquarters this week. The Program Manager Nature Resources Esther Kaiku and Program Manager Commerce and Tourism Ruth Loras visited Yasinna Nature Park to see fish firsthand and collect data of what the immediate community needed. It seemed a simple footbridge is what is missing in making life easier and economically beneficial for the Yasinni people.
Program Manager Natural Resources Esther Kaiku and Program Manager Commerce and Tourism Ruth Loras from the Ungai Benna District Authority were commended for braving the long trip to Yasinna Nature Park in Ward 7 of Upper Benna LLG in Eastern Highlands Province. Yasinna Nature Park founders Paul Pake and his wife said the visit was very much needed.
That's why me like Salimot, thank you Blumilong Miss Esther Kaiko na Kaiko emi officer in charge long site long natural resources na route lo site long commerce na tourism. This now me looking most a first of first time where district Ungai Benna district he got him the Tupla office where Tupla take him up this year. But Tupla, wasting time. Tupla come in, so we got big pla, hamamas lo Tupla. So me like to thank you lo Tupla.
Mr. and Mrs. Pake are founders of Yasina Nature Park. They have a tourism hub set up in their community and receive tourists every year. However, when the only river that separates them from basic government services floods, life simply comes to a standstill. A simple footbridge is all they need so they can run their tourism activities, children can go to school, and the sick can get to health facilities with ease.
Yasina, and by helping more communities, go around the western areas. Now, too, this time one footbridge or one footpath somewhere connecting what one blow goroka with some sabili. Now you go around some long side long Malian Ramu side to get a road trek go around long Ramu Valley, Ramu River or something. So I think this the bridge, maybe if bridge here by helping all communities go around some long Ramu. Na Mibla western areas. Na Ward 7. Na
Yasina Nature Park loses tourists during the heavy rains in September. Mr. Pake said if they had a footbridge, tourists can still come and visit them during this period.
Time this the period come na me tourist blow Mibla. Plan time Mibla losing tourist. Tourist that's why Mibla Yasina need him straight bridge, footbridge where Mibla can carry him tourist blow Mibla on top of Yasina. Spend him time, no have, now come down back, now after the soul, you can go back.
The visit of these two officers from the district office has been a positive aspect in Yasina's tourism efforts and at the same time ensuring basic services are accessible to its people. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
And that ends another edition of TV1 News. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
Bye.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.